Hello everybody, my name is Poison Ducky, and this is going to be another Total Warhammer 2, Total War Warhammer 2 replay. Wow, I got a little twist there. But I'm going to be playing as the Beastmen today. Now let me get this into slow motion. Versus the armies of chaos. Now today is going to be a little special build. I'm going to have, this is more of a specialized build, I suppose, with a pretty weak front line. I'm going to have Ungor Spearmen with shields. Now, these are pretty weak infantry, very low leadership, decent amount of stacks, and high speed, 41 speed for an infantry unit, especially with shields and, with this low amount of armor. They better be fast. But so I'm going to have 4 units of Ungor Spearmen with shields acting as a buffer for my army. I'm sure you already see the Cygor in the back. And they're going to be just a buffer. They're cannon fodder. They're just going to chaff them, hold them up. I'm going to have the one Regiment of Renown version, the Destroyers of Drakkwald, which are just essentially the same with better stats, but they have poison attacks, which will hold them back. I want to pause them, actually, because I'm moving to a different position. And this, I'm going to have 2 units of Beastmen. Now, these are the heavy hitters. They are armored, armor piercing, not anti-infantry. They're just good against essentially everything that's armored or even unarmored. It's just that as long as they're kind of like Black Orcs, right? So they're one of the best units of the Beastmen roster. Now, over in the left, here's my second group of Beastmen herds. I'm going to have 2 units of the Razor Gore herd. Now, just like giant Pumbas or giant pigs, bacons, they just roll over your opponents. They're fun to use, very powerful, and they're armor piercing and anti-infantry, very useful in the chaos unit matchup. Now, all the way in the far forest, I did have Vanguard deployed the Black Horns Ravagers. This is the Regiment of Renown Gore herds, and with shields. And what I like about them is they have essentially unlimited stamina. So I put them out here because they'd never get tired. And they'll always run at their full speed. And I wanted to make sure I could catch any cavalry possibly, or get a good catch just in case he Vanguard deployed some horse masters or some marauder horsemen. But in this case, it's not quite it. For my huge heavy hitter of this army, it's going to be the Eye of Morslib Cygor Regiment of Renown. I have so many regiments of renown now that I think about it. It's the magical hitting specialist artillery Cygor. You're going to throw those huge rocks, and it's fantastic because it has this ability called the Warp Gaze, which roots in one enemy or one unit of enemies, which is so fantastic to have a root attached to an artillery unit. It's just not only that, it's good in melee combat, and they just not too long ago they buffed the Cygor, so it's fun. And my leader is going to be the mighty Malagor. Malagor, I needed a caster, and Malagor he's one of my favorite leaders. He may not be like the most competitive, but he's just a cool leader with magic. He has cool wings, and I really like his spell list. Like I will be admitted, it's not a very powerful spell list, but I like it nonetheless. And of course, the 2 Gorbul's guards, 2 melee specialist heroes that are anti-large and armor piercing and armored with high mass. These things are fantastic at protecting leaders. Even though they may not have Guardian, they deal so much damage. All right, let's go over to the Chaos side. Now, over here on Chaos, you already see the first smackdown of my artillery hitting the Chaos Marauders. 7 models down in one shot. So he's going to have some Chaos Marauders and fun. He has a very oddly grouped units. It's kind of odd because I gave him plenty of time to set up, but he's very bunched up and kind of convenient for artillery fire. So we're going to have 3 units of Chaos Marauders in the front line quite literally mixed in, with some Chaos Warriors with halberds, Chaos Warriors with great weapons, and aspiring champions, interestingly enough. And he does have some Chaos Marauders with great weapons. So he's bringing a nice mix of anti-large and anti-armored infantry, or armor piercing. And with that, to counter my low armored infantry, he brings 2 units of Forsaken, one being the Regiment Renown, the Demon Spew, the blessed by Nurgle themselves. They do poison attacks, and I'm sure they lower the morale of people they attack. Where is it? Not morale. Minus 5 melee attack for people they attack. And he's going to have a normal unit of Forsaken as well. So they're quick infantry that are armored and they have a massive amount of weapon damage, so be careful around these guys. Like, look at that. Weapon strength 64 versus 44. And really high weapon attack as well. And the one leading him is the great Ever Chicken Sartorial, the Ever Watcher, with his lore of metal, and just a very fantastic pick overall. He's resistant to missiles, he's large mass, he disrupts the back line, very powerful. No chosen, but he has I like his build as he has a huge mix of essentially anti-everything. He has anti-infantry, anti-armored, he has anti-large, and just to round out that entire build, he does have a unit. Where did it go? Oh, there it is, sorry. He does one unit mixed in. It's a very odd formation he starts with, but he does have Chaos Knights with lances, which is going to be a very powerful shock cavalry. In terms of stats-wise, they're one of the best in the game. So, and they're shielded and armored. They're a fantastic unit. So he's going to have a lot of backline pressure and a lot of this is like a full rush build, which is what Chaos does very well because, they have no ranged units. And let's get on into the battle. I noticed that he's very much situated over here, so I'm going to rotate my army over here onto the left side of the map. And I'm going to have my hero Blackhorn's Ravagers, I almost called them the Heroes of Drakewald. They're going to be in a little, let's say a flanking maneuver, and they're going to come around over here and make sure they get behind the enemy lines, as they have no problem running the entire map. They never get tired. I like that. I'm going to move my units. I could have gotten a few extra shots, but I want the positioning here. Make sure I can get like a good, nice shot. The biggest issue is he only has one unit that has actual mobility, and that is the Chaos Knights with lances. So guess what my giant Cygor is going to throw his rocks at. Let's go. Let's go. 1 for 1. And there you go. Yes, that killed 6 models in 1 hit and took about like 10% of their health off. So that's pretty good. Now my Blackhorn's Ravagers do get revealed as they are flanking. He could have turned around and killed them, but I don't think he actually noticed them. A little misplay on my part for moving just a tiny bit too close to get revealed, but he's going to go in for the rush now. I summon a second Cygor using my Winds of Magic. And unfortunately, because of this outcrop here, a little bad positioning on my part, he's going to hit like a lot of the trees, and he's going to hit this. Good positioning on my opponent to use this as cover. Now here's my I believe in you. Whew. Oh, no, he doesn't throw. All right. It's really weird how Cygors just kind of like feint their throw. They're going to get a good shot into the Chaos Marauders with great weapons. Now over here on the right flank, before they can get a charge on me, I charge in with the Cygor herd. Now, these were at 100% health, and now they're at like 55% health in 1 charge of the Cygor herd. That's how powerful these bacon monsters of the Beastmen are. They're so high mass. The only problem with them is that they do have Rampage, which is quite unfortunate, as they will just get stuck in combat when they really shouldn't. Now his main force is going to clash with mine. I'm going to have my spears versus the Chaos Marauders with great weapons. The Chaos Marauders with great weapons will win almost every time, although the armor piercing is being wasted. Now over here on the left flank is his anti-infantry Demon Spew Forsaken. Now these units do not have armor piercing, so what I do is I move back my Ungor Spearmen with shields, and I move forward my Bestigor herd. So it's a good matchup for those units. Going to move. Make sure his halberds are moving up, and it's unfortunate, but he does get his Chaos Knights into my summon Cygor, and it goes down. So to counter that, I use my Gore Bulls, my anti-large units, to charge into the Chaos Knights. Since the Chaos Knights with lances are a large unit, and the Gore Bulls will do exceptionally well against them. And of course, with some Overwatch fire from the Eye of Morslib, fantastic plays. Now he does get the halberds into my Gore Bulls. Halberds are an effective counter to them, but I have already routed the Chaos Knights with lances, and I'm going to make sure they leave that battlefield. Now Malagor is going to use a spell here that I like. It's called Devolve, and it lowers the leadership, but it's like a Flock of Doom with an extra effect of dealing leadership damage. Now the leadership damage won't be useful now, but I wanted to use the Devolves as they were clumped up very heavily against my Spearmen. Now over here you can see my pigs, it's very unfortunate, but my Cygor herd did go Rampage, and Rampaging, like, it's a problem for them, but they deal so much damage. 64 kills in a 3 versus 1, or actually it was a 3 versus 2 unit situation. And not only that, they took out one unit of Chaos Marauders, and they paid for themselves, but it's unfortunate they rampaged. Now here over in the center, Sartorial, the Ever Chicken, comes over and tries to pressure my line of spearmen. Now this is going to be a mistake, you'll find out. It's just a second, but as on my left flank it's going well, my Bestigor herds are destroying the Demon Spew. They have no armor piercing, and the Chaos Marauders with great weapons, my opponent was effective here and actually pushed them against my Bestigors, but I'm supporting them with some Ungor Spearmen, as they don't, Chaos Marauders don't have armor. But over here, Sartorial himself gets Warp Gaze. He sees my artillery, charges at my artillery, but my artillery has a root, as I stated earlier. So I root Sartorial, the Everwatcher, and I send 2 Gorbals and Malagor against him. And you're gonna see just okay. Gorbal ping pong. Never get used to it. But look at this battle. What a fantastic battle. And he goes down. The Sartorial down. That's their commander is down, and it implies a huge leadership debuff on his army. I'm going to combine that with the ability of de-evolve to reduce the leadership of the enemy so that they will rout almost. The combination of the leadership penalty of de-evolve and the leadership penalty of your general dying is going to be a massive hit. Now the Blackhorns Ravagers did finally make it all the way around my regiment Renown, and they're into the flanks. So they're not only are is their leadership low, they're being flanked from behind on the sides. I've won the left flank over here against the Demon Spew. The Demon Spew have like no health left, but they're holding, and my Gorbals are going to get in there, and this is going to cause a mass rout, and that ends the units of Chaos. I'm quite happy with that. My Bestigors did well, and my Spearmen, I wasn't expecting much out of my Spearmen. Let's end this replay. As Spearmen are usually anti-large, but they have high melee defense, so they hold out against them. But they did a decent amount of damage. 39 kills, 51 on a Spearman unit. Like, they definitely punched higher than I expected them to. But they did have low armored units, as in the Chaos Marauders, of course. But I was just surprised on how well they held. Now, I really liked Malagor in this game. Casting those de-evolves and summoning Cygors that cause terror. And then the 2 Gorbals were so fantastic. Literally killing their leader was, I think, the main point of why we won that match. 2 huge-ass Minotaurs that are anti-large. Of course, they did well. The Destroyers of Drakwald were in the center line, as I didn't showcase them that much in this replay, but they held for a long time. It only made it to about 33% health. And the Blackhorns Ravagers did well flanking, and the Bestigor herds. These are the reason why the Forsaken did so poorly. Forsaken do not have armor-piercing attacks. So the fact that the Bestigor herds were attacking the Forsaken, it was such a great matchup. And the Razorgore herds, they did their best. They do a lot of damage in small bursts and charges, but the second they go rampaging, they're gone. And of course, the MVP of the show, the Eye of Morsleb, taking down those Chaos Knights, dealing so much leadership damage, causing terror. A very fantastic showcase by the Beastmen, I would say. My opponent, I think he had the right idea. I actually really like his army. I think it was more of an execution problem, which anyone can work on. Good Marauders to hold the front line, Chaos Marauders with great weapons to deal with, like, what's it called, Bestigor herds. Aspiring champions give leadership bonuses around the units although the general usually does the same thing. Sartorial is an interesting lord in that he doesn't have to usually stay with the front line of units, not like Kolek or Archaon. So these are going to be, although I don't usually use aspiring champions, I like the pick as terror and other factors such as like fear. The aspiring champions are pretty good. Like, they don't stop it, but they buffer it. Forsaken, a really good choice against the lightly armored units of the Beastmen, as they're just massive weapon damage. But they just 59 and 37. They could have gotten like kills within the 200s if they went into my Ungor Spearmen. I'm not kidding. And 2 Chaos Warriors with halberds, just in case I go full like Centaur Giant on him. He did have the tools. I like it. He had tools for everything. His only issue was that he did not use those tools correctly. So let that be a lesson. I didn't bring I only brought one ranged unit, so yeah, he had tools for quite literally everything. So let that be a lesson in that it's more about how you use your army, less than what army you have. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys next time. And I forgot to say, please leave a like and subscribe.